Umesh Chowdhary, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director at Titagarh Rail Systems, joins us on the show. Umesh, hi, good to be speaking with you. That's exactly my first question. What do you think has turned in favor of the entire railway ecosystem over the last 3 to 6 months that the street is banking a lot on it?
Good morning. Always a pleasure being with you. So I think you see the railway story is a story of structural change of the country. Indian economy, in order to become a 5 trillion or a 10 trillion or a 30 trillion economy, as the Honorable Prime Minister has set up the targets, I think it is going to be an impossibility to achieve those targets unless and until the backbone of the country, which is the railway, is strengthened and is made robust. And that is the focus that has been given on the railways. And whether it's on creating new infrastructure or utilizing the existing infrastructure by way of adding on rolling stock, by way of adding on the policies that require or that facilitate increasing of traffic, etc., etc. So it's a complete transformational stage, and we must also see what has happened in the railways in the last 60, 70 years. In fact, the railways that was left to the country by the Britishers pretty much remained as almost on the same basis. It was maybe a HUF kind of a growth till this government actually started investing in the railways and transforming the railways. And in the last couple of years, 3 years, I think it's been a complete transformational story. So I personally believe that the story of the Indian Railways is just begun. And I think it is a long way to go for the railways to really reach the kind of its capacity on investments or on growth.
Thanks so much for taking time out, and I would also like to get in your thoughts on the entire Ayodhya theme and the kind of potential benefit as well for railway projects in light of Ayodhya. What kind of opportunities are you seeing in particular for the sector and for the company in specific?
See, as far as the Ayodhya thing is concerned, I mean it's a great thing for all of us as a nation, and I think as an individual, I feel extremely humbled, elated, and all the other positive emotions that can be. As far as direct impact to the railways, I don't know. I mean, whether it will be impacting the railways directly, apart from the fact that it is definitely going to add on to the tourism. And, we are manufacturing the Vande Bharat trains and all of that. So I think, to that extent, the whole domestic movement, the domestic tourism, etc., would get enhanced. But there is nothing directly related to our sector as far as the temple is concerned.
Okay, fair enough. But this would also mean then there will be high competition among the rail players. So how are you looking at your overall margins, considering that there will be competitive bidding?
So competitiveness is always there, will always remain there. It's all about being ahead of the curve. You see, we've always believed at Titagarh that competition is not always a bad thing. It's always, in fact, a good thing because it keeps you on your toes. We have been cost competitive in terms of whether we have two segments. We have the freight segment and the passenger segment. On both the segments, there are different set of competitors that we have. In passenger segment, we have competitors who are multinational companies. We believe we have certain advantages vis-a-vis them. On the freight side, also we are the largest manufacturer, so we have the economies of scale playing in. So based on all of that, we believe that competition is going to be there, but it's not going to be impacting our margins because it's all being more competitive than your competitor.
Chaudhary, then what are your budget expectations? Because this time the capex expenditure of the government is expected to come down. Over the last 3 years, we have seen that the capital expenditure had doubled, but this time from a double-digit growth, we're expecting it to be a single digit. Is that something which might impair the growth or limit the growth?
So there are two aspects to this. One is that the base has become much larger. And I believe that also, when you look about capex, you cannot kind of club up everything of the capex. I believe the railways will still see growth or investments which will be unprecedented. That's my belief. And that's the reason is that today Indian economy is becoming costly because of logistics costs. Uh, People who are traveling on the trains, the aspiration of young India has changed. This is the Naya Viksit Bharat that we are talking about. So people are not happy traveling on the roof that they were used to be traveling in the past. Now they want to travel on the modern Vande Bharat. So I think that this whole paradigm shift that has happened, both in terms of the economic movement for the freight and the passenger aspirations for the passenger side, is going to ensure that the capex, the investments, or the infrastructure built up on the railway side is not going to slow down, hopefully in the coming future.
Considering the high capex and modernization plans entailed for railways as a whole, Mr. Chowdhary, brokerages are now estimating a threefold increase in EBITDA and a fivefold jump in PAT over the period of FY23 to 26. Would you concur with that view?
We would not be able to speak about the forward-looking projections, and all we can say is that we've kind of had a very healthy order book built up. We've started executing the wagons as per the requirements. The Vande Bharat production or the setup is going on as per schedule. We are confident of rolling out our first Vande Bharat by June 2025. Which is going to be a very important milestone in our company's history, and then it's going to be built up from there. The capacities, Pune execution has gone on well. The Bangalore production will start on within the next few days. So all the passenger side, which is actually the business that we have been incubating for a while, is now starting to come in and kick in terms of the top line and the bottom line. The freight side is already going as per the plans. So the the sector is the tailwind in the sector is so strong that we are actually being supported by that.
But what I want to understand, and it's completely fine, you can skip giving any numbers, but just in terms of a direction, what happens after FY26? Because at some point there will be stagnancy, right?
So that some point is something which is very, very debatable. We believe that the railways has a lot of catch up to do. The 50, 60, 70 years of the country did not see much of railway investments, railway-centric policies. So we've seen let's look at the kind of highways that have come up in this country. Let's look at the investments that has come into the air travel sector. But let's look at what has happened in comparison to that, to the railways. And railways, we know, is the backbone of the country. I mean, a country of 1.4 billion people cannot function without the railways. Our logistics costs is, as a percentage of GDP today, is one of the highest in the world. And we are now we are aspiring, and we will become, and I'm 100% sure we will become, third largest economy of the world. So for all of this, the catch-up that railways has to do for the last so many decades is large. So what will be that point of, let's say, base, the equilibrium to have a normalized growth is something that we will have to see as we go along.
Okay, Mr. Chowdhary, on that note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. But of course,